If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. Tangled in my head, replaying memories. Close my eyes and pray for some kind of clarity. A dream in black and white beats all that I see. I can feel it in my bones when I see your face. It's the cruelest kind of dream, driving me insane. If sleep is for the weak, you know I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. If rest is for the dead, you know where I'll be. 6 feet in the dead, right where you want me. If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good, take the pain away. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good, take the pain away. Sleep is for the weak. Take the pain away. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality. And you never loved me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. You have deceived myself away. There's nothing that takes the pain away. Take the pain away.
Shady, go back to your stream. Go back. Go away. Fucker. I swear to God. Okay, I have Spotify going. We got that going. Shady, go back to your stream. I love your face. I love you. Hi guys. Hi. How's it going? Hope y'all are having a fantastic Tuesday. Let me say hi to everyone that's in here. J Killer, I love your face. I love your face. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Samuel redeeming first. Congrats on your first. Congrats on your first. Shady motherfucker. You're streaming. Go away. I see you. You see nothing, Dutchie. You see nothing. You see absolutely nothing. I'm not here. I'm here. I'm not there. I'm here. I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm here. Brad, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. We doing Dad of Boy. God of Boy today. I'm so excited. I've only been chatting about doing this freaking game for like 5 months now. And I know nothing about the game other than boy. That's the only thing I know about this freaking game. I freaking love your face. Dutchie, I love your face. I love your face. Boy, I know. I'm gonna be saying that all freaking night. Like, every time he says boy, I'm just going to laugh uncontrollably. I went back to work today. Today was no kids. It was a teacher work day. So I got to set up my classroom and I got to do all the fun stuff like set up my bulletin boards. I still have to do stuff on my bulletin boards though. So yeah, I still got shit to do in my classroom. I have to input grades. I have to organize student artwork. They didn't really give us enough time to go make things work. But I did the damn thing. And kind of set up my classroom. So yeah, we did something. We accomplished something. Tomorrow is the first day the kids come back, which I'm kind of hella nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous because like I've been doing this for 6 months now, so like I should be fine, but I don't know. I got to see some of the kids today when I was back in the school. They were there for basketball. So that was really nice. I was in the hallway doing the bulletin boards outside my room, and they're like, Miss Annie, how are you? And I was like, oh, I miss you guys. I can't wait to see y'all. So yeah, it was a chill, low-key day today, which was good. I needed it. It's so good. I'm so excited to play this game. Like, I've heard all of my friends talking about it. I've actively avoided their streams because I don't want spoilers. When I say I know nothing about God of War, like, I know absolutely nothing. I just know Kratos and Atreus. That's it. And boy. So, I can't wait to get into it. I'm really, really excited. The second to last writing instrument I had was by far the best. It was the ultimate pen, the penultimate, if you will. Doug! Welcome in. I love dad jokes. Can I say, I appreciate your dad jokes and the effort you put in. Like, I appreciate you. I do want to say I'm a little sorry for running late today. First thing, I got a weighted blanket. My mom gave me a weighted blanket for my birthday. So I'm like, that got delivered like 10 minutes before stream and I was so excited. Oh my god, weighted blankets are a game changer. It really is. This is a 15-pound one. So it's a hefty boy. I'm really excited because I can fold it in half because it's a queen size blanket. So if it's just me, I could fold it in half and then lay it on top of me and it'll be 30 pounds of just pressure. So I can't wait to like sleep with this. I hope it helps my sleep a little bit better. And then my birthday outfit came in for stream on Thursday. And then I bought eucalyptus stems to put in my shower. I used to do that like a year ago and it really helped out with like my congestion and first thing in the morning. It was just a nice thing. So those came in literally 10 minutes before stream. And then I made a soundboard. I'm hoping it works. I'm actually gonna lower this so y'all can hear it. I made a sound deck of all of my friends and the ridiculous shit that they say. If my sound deck will open.
That's the mask.
I hope y'all heard that. A-League, welcome in. How are you? Let me see.
Like leave it in my mouth for a while.
Yeah. And we got
Stuff me like a pot of honey, Piglet.
fucking shady. I can't. So I was doing that like right before stream too. And I wanted to have that set up. So I have all of these fucking sounds that I hope I get to use. Not the pot of honey. Oh hi, Madden. Oh hi.
Stop hitting me with your balls.
Hi, Madden. Hi, Mo. Are you mad because you're not getting your say? Are you mad? You angy boy? I can't with this dog. We had a little surprise for him. It was like unbelievably warm outside for January. It was 64 degrees outside. So they got to go outside and play in the dog park and like run around because it's been nice outside. So they got to play. I'm gonna raise the music back up. I'm so glad you don't have a soundboard from the kind of shit I've said to Fish. Oh my god, I wish I had a soundboard. Love of my life. Love of my life. What do you need? What do you need from me? What do you need? Do you just need attention? Is that what you need? You're not climbing in my lap. No. You're not. I'm sorry if that makes you upset. This dog is so needy. He's so needy. Alright, go lay down. Go lay down. Hi Madden. Hi. A-League Madden, how are you guys doing? I love your faces. Mwah. Doggo being needy again. Doggo is always needy. He's always needy. Like morning, noon, and night. That dog demands attention. He's like mean mugging me right now because I told him to go lay down. But yeah, we got a soundboard. And you bet your ass I'm gonna be playing A-League. I see you right now on Steam. I see you. I'm gonna be adding more sounds as I get them. So watch out, streamer friends. Watch out, because you could end up on my soundboard. It's like, don't call me out on my bullshit. Someone needs to be data boy. Yes. Yes. Buttspot, hello? Buttspot with the double butt? It's like, butt me on my bullshit. Someone needs to be data butt. Someone needs to be data butt. Buttspot, hello? That's a good one. I'll be data butt. I will be data butt. Guess who won a giveaway last weekend? It got here today. Ooh, what did we get? What did we get? Do tell. Do tell. I love giveaways. I wish I could do more giveaways, honestly. I've done a few. I'm thinking about like doing like a once a month art stream and giving away like the piece of art that I make. I don't know, I've thought about it. $75 PSN gift card. I bought God of War Ragnarok for a total of $1.66 of my own money. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Holy shit. I love every bit of that, A-League. I am also slightly jealous. I would love a $75 PSN gift card. Why is my hair looking this way? Hello? Hair, get your shit together. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to think of what announcements do I have the birthday stream on Thursday. I need to set up Beat Saber and all that. I'm probably going to be doing that tomorrow night. Setting up hopefully the mixed reality capture and making sure all of that works. Because last time we tried it, the visuals worked, but the audio didn't work. And I think I know how to fix it. But I could be wrong. So I'll probably be testing that out tomorrow. I might do a test stream on like my alt account to see if it works. So we got birthday stream Thursday, which is also coincidentally the New Year, New Friends Raid Train event. I was lucky enough to snag my birthday, so I could celebrate with everyone. And we're going to be doing a late stream. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern to midnight. And then we're going to be, let me see, New Year, New Friends. So, Rivers Eagle is going to be raiding into me, and then we're going to be raiding out to the Werewolf. So 2 new friendos. I can't wait for, you know, them to come in and us get to meet everyone. So it's gonna be a time. I'm gonna have song requests. It's gonna be like 10 or well, maybe not 10, maybe like 100 channel points You can request a song for me to do on Beat Saber if I can find it. Because I do have my Oculus modded, so I can download songs. But I have like 400 songs already downloaded, so I might have stuff up there that you want to see. Let's see. I sure do wish I had a PS5. I can't justify spending launch price on a 2-year-old system. I get that. I get that. Especially when, like, you know that they're working on the next gen consoles and stuff. Like, I think I read this morning that Nintendo's already working on next gen console because Tears of the Kingdom is going to be one of the last big games that they put out for the Switch or some shit like that. I read that somewhere on Twitter. I don't know how true it is. But I totally get it. Ace, welcome in. I love your face. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I adore you. And thank you for words of wisdom. I am mentally strong and stable. I mean, the Switch is considerably older than the PS5 and Xbox series. It came out in 2017. True. Shit, the Switch really is that much older. Because the PS5 has only been out for like, what, 3 years? So yeah. Next Saturday, not this Saturday coming up, not the 7th, but the 14th, we are going to be having a collab with Demon Fighters. We are going to be doing some comfy Stardew Valley on that Saturday. Usually Saturdays are reserved for Kingdom Hearts content. Depending on what time he wants to go live, I do need to sort all of those details out with him. I just know it's that Saturday. Depending on the time, we might still do Kingdom Hearts content. And we might just swap over to Stardew Valley whenever Fighters is ready. Announcement in the Discord. If you are not in the Discord, !Discord will get you that link. But we're going to be starting up Final Fantasy 14 nights. We are going to be doing that in the Discord. We're going to be gaming as a group, as a community. I am super excited. You guys said that you wanted to do that. I am more than happy to do that for y'all. Let's see. Let's see if there's any. Yeah. 4 of y'all said that you wanted to join in on the Final Fantasy 14 nights. So that is something I'm going to be planning. I'm probably going to leave that poll up in the Discord for another day. And then I'll probably add another one end of tomorrow. Seeing what date or what times and days work best for everyone. Because as of right now, like Wednesday through Saturdays are fine for me. So, I'll be putting all that in Discord. But if you want to join the Discord and hang out with us and play Final Fantasy 14, if you own it, or if you just want to vibe and see how it plays, if you're like on the fence, or if you just want to vibe with us, you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to own the game. You don't have to play the game. You could just chill. I'll wait a few years for the PC version. That's fair. I'm good, thanks. How are you? I'm doing good, Ace. I went back to work today. I'm a little tired. I did only get 4 hours of sleep. So your girl's a little sleepy bean today, but we here, we streaming, we doing the stream thing. So I'm excited. Honestly, Nintendo's a system to have if you also have a good PC. No point owning an Xbox and a nice PC. There aren't any exclusives, and with PS5 it almost feels like timed exclusive sometimes. But PS5 is super nice. Yeah, I am not much of an Xbox person. Like, I do still have my 360 right there. I do still have an Xbox 360. I haven't hooked it up in years, so I don't even know if it still works. My Switch is in my bedroom. I do keep my Switch in there for offline gaming. Because honestly, like most games that I play on the Switch, I have on PC. Like I mainly play Stardew Valley or Hollow Knight. So if I want to stream it, I can do it on my PC and then keep my Switch in my bedroom. The only time that I'm ever going to pull my Switch out of my bedroom is if I'm doing like Breath of the Wild, which we are probably after God of War, we're probably going to dive back into Breath of the Wild and do a master mode run. Because I beat the game on normal. So I beat the game on regular difficulty. I would love to go back and do master mode. I've never done a master mode game of Zelda, so I would love to do that. And I miss Breath of the Wild. It was a fun game. I still have my 360 too. Yeah, I haven't plugged up my 360. I still have like all the Fable games on disc. And I mean, I might hook that up if I ever want to play Fable on stream. Big memories of Fable 2. That's my favorite Fable. I love Fable 2. It's such a good game. I still have it. I have in my living room, like all up in there. I still have like all of my discs laid out. Like I have Final Fantasy 12, I think Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 10, all of the old games. I heard Fable 2. Yeah, we're talking about I still have my 360 right here. And in my living room I have all of my game discs on display. And I have Fable 1, Fable 2, and Fable 3. I actually know where all my stuff is for it and the game itself. I was always a Sony pony, so God of War, DMC were my faves. Yeah, we usually did Sony in our house. Like we usually had a lot of PlayStation stuff. I bought the 360 and the GameCube of my own money when I first got it, and then my husband gifted me a Switch 2 years ago for Christmas. I gifted him a PC, he gifted me a Switch. And then he wound up upgrading his PC, and I got this PC. I got his old one, so yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all the announcements I have for now, which is perfect timing because song ended. So we can hop into some Dad of Boy. Dad of Boy. Oh shit, I didn't turn my camera back on. There we go. Okay. Dad, oh boy. HDR is not detected. Please check your... Okay, I don't need HDR. Okay, that's like... Adjust until details are barely visible on both halves of the image. Where are the details on the white side of the image? Oh well, I mean, I guess that works. Dad, oh boy, I'm gonna bump this up a little bit so y'all could hear. Fable 2, I would set everyone's rent to max and time travel forward, then set it all back to Logan after I collected all the gold. Oh my god. Okay, new game. Give me stories for players who want to experience the story without too much of a game page. Gameplay challenge, no. Give me balanced experiences for players who want an adventure that's reasonably challenging. Give me a challenge. It's for those who want a more demanding combat experience. Give me God of War. Okay, we're definitely not doing Give me God of War. We'll do balanced. I've not played this one. If you need help understanding stuff backstory related, I can fill you in. Okay. No worries, J Killer. Thank you, thank you. Okay. How's the sound? Is the sound okay for everyone? Do I need to bump it up any? Because, like, I could hear it perfectly fine, but I want to make sure you guys can hear it as well. Press R1 to swing the Leviathan axe. Kratos, Angie. Shinobi, thank you so much for the lurk. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna enjoy this game. Oh, that's loud. That was loud. Kratos, Angie. Kratos be Angie. Oh. I feel like we in like a nostalgic moment right now. Also, sound levels are fine. Even that loud part was a little
Found
quieter
some.
than you. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you, thank you. Boy!
Get in the boat, boy.
Ooh, I do need subtitles. I do need subtitles. Cool! Let's see. Okay. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Let me see. Resources? No. Do I have to? No, that's definitely not what I want to do. I guess I can't put on subtitles right now. Smokey! Hi! Hi, how are you? I love your face. I hope you're doing good.
Still want me to tie it to the boat?
Oop. Kratos, a big, strong man.
Boy.
How do lumberjacks keep track of how much work they've done? How? They keep a log? Triangle for options? Okay.
That is enough.
That's weird. Triangle for options? The marked trees. Follow the river downstream. Lilith! Hi, Lilith. Cool. I really should not be
Father?
steering this thing.
What?
Did something change?
I
The force
should not be
feels-
steering this thing.
Different.
Everything is different, boy. Try not to dwell on it.
Yes, sir.
What's brown and sticky? A stick? That's my favorite dad joke ever. That is my absolute favorite one. Because it's so stupid, but it's so, like, beautiful. Hi, beautiful. Hi, gorgeous. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. How are you doing? How's your day going? How's stream going? Also, I love your face, ma'am. I love your face, Smokey. Stream is good. I'm excited to play this game for the first time. And my day was pretty good. I went back to work today, and it was pretty low-key. And, like, it was quiet because there were no kids. Kids come back tomorrow. I'm good. Hope you're having a good night. Yeah, I'm having a pretty good night so far. I got a soundboard for all of my streamer friends' voices when they say dumb shit. Or you know, for example, things like this.
Good night, mommy.
So I spent like my time doing that. And then we took the dogs to the dog park, so they got to run because it was really nice outside weather-wise.
That was the
So, yeah.
last.
How's your first day back? First day was good. It was really quiet. There were kids don't come back till tomorrow, so it was pretty much just set up your rooms and get that ready for the kids to come back, and have your plan for what you're doing. So yeah, it was like low key, really chill. Oh shit. We burying someone? Well, or like sending them off on a little like funeral pyre?
Oh, there do I see my mother.
Oh, it's his mommy.
Oh, there do I see my father.
Or maybe not. Hope you're doing well today, my friend. I'm doing great,
there
Samuel.
do
How
they
are
call to
you?
me? Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
Oh.
Oh, there do they call to me.
He's not menacing at all. Only say if you legit want to know. No, I don't want to know. I'm sure I'll find
She's
out
ready.
soon. Bro is like fucking ripped.
Find your way home. You are free.
Okay. Well, that's canvas, so obviously this is a bunch of art supplies he's carrying. Of course, it is a bunch of art supplies. Like, that is very clearly a masterpiece that he is setting free. I'm here just lurking so I don't avoid spoilers. Love your face, oh River! I love your face. Yes, do the lurkies. Do all of the lurkies, by all means. By all means. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just relax and working on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch stuff. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Squeeze.
Oh god, that's gotta feel so good for a freaking burn.
This
Oh.
knife. It was hers. Now it is yours. She taught you to hunt.
She knew.
Show me.
Now?
Now.
Oh. Bruh, Kratos looks badass.
What are we hunting?
You are hunting deer.
Which way?
In the direction of deer.
Okay,
Where are we going?
this way.
There. We're going there. Mark trees. Hunt with Atreus. Okay, okay. Gonna be 100% honest. If
Father,
I was the dad of a son, I'd
why are we doing
100%
this
dress
now?
as Kratos for our first
I
really
need
good
to know
Halloween
you
when
can
he was like
survive
4
the
or 5.
journey.
Oh, hell yeah.
Then we leave for the mountain?
Depends on you. Hunt.
Like, I feel like
What did you find?
Tracks.
as
Not deer, though.
as
I'll keep looking.
gamers, we have. Oh, okay, so that's camera settings. That's fine. Ah, okay, video, not that. Gameplay. We don't have subtitles. HUD. Or am I? Subtitles on. There we go. So I feel like as gamers, you have to dress up. Like, you are literally obliged to dress up your child, like during Halloween as
More tracks?
Yeah.
a
But
cool
they're too
ass
round.
fucking character.
Could be a wild boar.
Like
Good.
I totally
Oh.
want to dress
Now
my
what?
child up as like Bulma, Vegeta, and Trunks. Ooh,
This way, boy.
you just gonna leave him?
Hup.
Oh,
Oh.
boy got
Wait,
jumps.
deer
Boy got
tracks.
hops.
They're fresh. This way.
I need to turn off that timer because Friendo Urine is done. Go, boy!
Slow down, boy.
Sorry.
You are hunting deer, not chasing it.
My daughter
Yes,
just turned
Father.
2 this past Halloween. We dressed her as Wonder Woman. Oh my god, that's so freaking adorable. This is so cute. Hi, babe. What you looking
We
for?
broke our bridge. How are we gonna get across?
Step aside.
Oh, I have no idea. Oop. Okay. L2 to aim. Press R1 or R2 to throw the axe. Whoa!
Oh, what happened here?
Ooh. Okay. Jump! Jump, 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 jump.
There it is!
Hold. What are you doing? Now his guard is up.
100,000 respect points for the
Holy
Vegeta family
fire.
costumes. Oh, hell yeah.
Holy fire.
We just witnessed
When
the.
I
If have
tell
you
you
seen
to
the
fire.
insert item here? He's looking for
I'm
the other
sorry.
mouse that we had.
Do
The
not be sorry.
the wireless one, because like
Be
mine
better.
is
Find it.
wired. Because I hate the wireless one that we had.
Find
It would drain batteries like nobody's fucking business. So I was like, I would just rather have a wired one at this point in time, honestly.
My bow!
No! You are not ready! Stay back!
Here we go! Don't worry, I got this. Oh, hi. Hi. Where do you come from? Whoa. Fuck off. Absolutely not. Get wrecked. Is that it? Nope. Where you at? Woo! Ah, there's one behind me. Whoa! I'ma knock a motherfucker into another motherfucker. We good? Y'all want any more?
Fire. They've never come this close to our woods before.
Kratos, only fire when I tell you. I'm sorry. Kratos, I'm sorry. I'm dead. I have a whole pack of like 8 rechargeable AA pluses for plus a charger for $25. That was on Amazon. That's not bad. That's not bad. It was Power Owl brand. I've never heard of them, but they seem to last a decently long time. And since my daughter has a couple of toys that take batteries, it made sense. Yeah, that does make sense. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, you just step on that shit? That's badass. Butt spot? No, we do not butt things when we talk about kids. Butt spot, I'm gonna need you to cool off there.
You went in the old temple. But Mom told me never to go in there.
We do what we please, boy. No excuses.
Mom said no. And Mom runs this shit. Dad, Mom
Can I
said
have my bow
no.
back now?
Can you hit it from here?
We should get closer.
Smart move, Atreus. Smart move. It's funny because we do call it a stinky butt when she needs a diaper change. I think she has a stinky butt. I call my
Never
dog
wanted to
that.
take me.
My dog,
Why
my
not?
little dog, my
It was
chihuahua,
her
he
wish.
loves
was time.
stinky things. Like, my husband will come home from work, and, Simba will stick his head in my husband's work shoe. One moment, chat. I will be with you. Oh, you bitch. Whoa. So what you fucking get for hitting me. Woo! Ow! Ow, 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 ow. Any more? Yup, where you at? Where'd you go? Whoa, you're right there. Let's go touch the little health thingy and get some health back.
Atreus, follow me.
Okay, so my husband works in a restaurant, and
Something's gotta open that gate.
he will come home and he'll stick his head, his entire head, in my husband's shoe. Ooh. Why am I aiming? What am I aiming for? Oh, right here? What am I aiming for? What happened? Up there?
What now?
Trying to think. What is... Am I a dummy? Or should I need to work on my axe? What's this?
You froze it in place.
Oh! I did it. And then... Yoink!
Nice.
I did the thing. I did the thing. Explore the world to find
Where you
valuable
going?
resources.
I think
What's
he's
right
this
here?
way.
Well, what's right here, boy? What is this?
What?
He can no longer use it. We can.
We grave robbing now? Oh, what's this? More health? Can I hack and slash this? No, I can't hack and slash that. Well, I don't need the health for now, but that's nice to know that it's up there. What's up here? What's over here? Oh? I'm just destroying everything. It's okay, don't mind me.
Roy, over here.
Oh, look. It's Skull and Hati, the giant wolves who chase the sun and moon.
If mom
Where did they
says no,
come
then
from?
that's
How did
that.
they get up
Then,
there?
if mom says
What's
no,
happening there at the end?
then that's it. Mom's answer
eat the
always
sun and moon?
overpowers dad's answer.
And then
Exactly.
everybody fights?
Exactly. Is that boy? Okay, so am I just supposed to... Oh, lore added. Oh, so this is kind of like Hellblade, where you have lore stones. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, chest. He just Hulk smashed into the fucking chest. Ugh. And jump. Oh, we just gonna slide down. Okay, time to go. Sequana! Welcome in! How are you? It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing good.
Look.
Wait for my mark. Relax. Do not think of it as an animal. It is simply a target. Clear your
Hold
mind.
L2 and use R.
Feet solid. Steady yourself. Exhale.
I got it.
Good.
I did it! Kratos is very strong. You know what? You know what I have to say to that?
Oh, he's huge. Oh, he's huge. Oh, he's so big. Oh God, my insides.
I love Kate. I love Kate
The
so
knife.
much. Oh shit, I don't have any water. Oh fuck.
No.
I have no water.
Finish what you started.
Fuck, welcome in. How are you? How are you doing? God, I'm so glad to see you. Oh, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch.
I can't.
I know, I can't either, Atreus. Oh. I hate it. Oh, thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Oh. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I can't stand, like, animals getting hurt. Like, I don't like the noise of, like, them. I don't like it. I hate it. I will go get water in a second after this cutscene plays, so I can hydrate for you guys. Like, I was so bad when that played. Ooh. I guess after this fight, I'll go get water. Bruh, Troll said, yeah, yeet.
We're gonna fight that?
Hell yeah, we are. Woo! Atreus arrows. Press square to command Atreus to shoot arrows. Hold L2, then press square to target a specific enemy. Enemies will be distracted from attacking Kratos when they are hit by an arrow. The number of arrows Atreus can shoot is indicated in the lower right corner. Once shot, arrows take time to recharge. Ah!
Okay, just tell me when to shoot. How did it go now?
Leave my son alone! Oh. Obviously, the boss's health bar. I need to. But okay, Atreus, shoot right there. Oh, fuck. Ah! I feel like I gotta do something with like the glowy legs part. I'm gonna die. There's health over here, but the big trolly man. Ah! Woo! Fuck off! Troll ain't gonna fucking get me. Oh, I need more health. I need more health. I need more health. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Nope. You're supposed to be distracted. got you, boy! I'm glad Atreus doesn't have a fucking health bar. Ooh, oof, oof. How am I gonna fucking die in the first goddamn boss fight? Ah! And I died. Oh, good. Great to see you as well. I'm so glad you're doing good, Flam. I'm so glad. Troll said nope. Yeah, Troll said fuck your shit. I'm also back on the songwriting grind. Started process of my movie script. That's amazing, Samuel. Okay, okay.
Okay, tell me when to shoot.
Nobody push it!
Ready, father.
This is fine. You were supposed to be distracted. You were supposed to be distracted.
Too strong.
Okay, I need to...
Why is he falling?
Atreus, shut the fuck up! Fuck.
You okay?
Oh, I forgot I could do that! Woo! Oh, what the fuck? I forgot I could fucking do that. Stop moving. Stop moving. Stop it. Stop it. Stop that. Atreus. I see what I gotta do. I see what I gotta do. I just need him to stop fucking moving. Ah, my aim sucks. My aim sucks. Motherfucker. Oh my god, you have to be like fucking exact with that shit. Ah! 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 What the fuck? It's right fucking there.
Tell me when.
I got this! This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Atreus, I got this! Ooh! I got this. I got this. I got this.
Get control of yourself, boy.
He's fine. Oh, he angry. He big mad. He big mad. Atreus, you're clearly not ready. Why are you focused on me? Leave me alone. Oh, I'm gonna die again. I got this. I could clutch it. I could clutch it. I can clutch it! Rip that off! I clutched it, guys. I did it.
That's what you get!
Boy,
Boy.
I'm afraid of
Boy, you're gonna be tired.
you! You're nothing to me!
Guys, I did it.
boy,
I did it.
look at
I
me.
did it.
Look at me, boy. Boy, look at me.
Boy! Boy!
We did it.
Okay, now that I'm, past all that,
You
and I
are
don't need to
not
focus.
ready.
Hi, guys. Hi. I love your faces. You're all beautiful.
What?
You are absolutely
Are you
stunning.
serious? I found the deer. I proved myself. How am I not ready?
We are going home.
You gotta control your emotions, bud.
I haven't been sick in a long time. I can do this.
You are not ready.
Okay, can I get health? Give health.
I am ready.
Let's speak again.
Return to the house. Okay, bet.
The path home is this way. Duh.
Duh. Hi, guys. Hi. You're all gorgeous tonight. You're looking mighty fabulous. I love your faces. How's everyone doing? Ooh. An enemy's stun bar is located below their health bar. Attacking an enemy in quick succession inflicts stun damage, causing the bar to fill. Once the bar is filled, the enemy is stunned. Press R3 to grab a stunned enemy. Arrows and barehanded attacks inflict extra stun damage. Kratos can switch to barehanded attacks by throwing the axe or sheathing the axe by pressing right. That's okay. We just, fuck them up. Whoa. I kind of want to do, Whoa. That was cool as shit. Oh, hidden chambers? What is this?
Still can't get the doors open, huh?
Quiet.
What is this? What is this? What is this door? Okay. We gonna search the area. Hold on, Atreus. Hold your horses. Ah, yes, nothing like a first-timer's reaction to Kratos' brutality. It is beautiful. Whoa. Oh! Toggle enemy lock-on? That would have been nice when I was fighting the goddamn troll. Yeah, yeet, motherfucker! Where's he at? Where they at, though? Oh.
Whoa, what is that?
You.
The axe isn't working?
You know what? Fuck it. Whoa! Fuck off, bruh! Give me that sweet, sweet that.
I told you something was different about the horse.
And I told you not to speak.
Oh my god. So excited for you. You're gonna love this game, Madden. I'm so excited for this game. I'm kicking myself in the ass for not playing it sooner. I really am. The biggest smile on my face watching you giggle with glee as you rip people in half. I likes to rip people in half. Oh, we's
But
back?
why would a fire troll burn Mother's garden? And since when are Draugr so close to the house? And what was that frozen thing that attacked us?
I do not know. Now be silent. We are almost home.
I mean, this looks like we're home. This is the funeral pyre. We home.
Inside, boy.
Okay, cut some time. We get our blinky, we get all nice and cozy. See why Kratos is an extra character in...
It's not fair.
Okay, so I'm reading that as Mario Kart 9, and I'm like, Kratos is not in Mario Kart. And then I'm like, oh, Mortal Kombat.
Different now that she's...
I'm a dumbass. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
You lost control.
That thing was trying to kill us. It's not like you don't get
I
angry.
didn't know Kratos
Anger
could
can
race.
be a weapon.
Kratos is fast as
If you
fuck,
control
boy.
it, use it. You clearly cannot.
We both ruin
I haven't
friendships.
been sick in a long time.
Facts.
I'm better now.
Fine. Come on then.
He
What
won't
we about to
eat it.
do? We about
I
to
want you
arm
to
wrestle?
try.
My bad. No, Smokey. You're good. You're good.
Ow! What are you...
Try again.
True words have never been spoken.
Why are you
True.
doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Cut it out!
Weak. Again. Again.
Stop it!
Again.
Oh. Oh, little baby Atreus.
Your anger. You can get lost in it. The path ahead is difficult.
He's got a point there.
And you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
What was that?
Quiet.
Come on out!
All right. Oh,
There's no use hiding anymore.
who the fuck are you?
I know who you are.
What's
I
going
don't know
on?
who you are.
Do you know him?
More importantly, I know what you are.
What the fuck
Boy,
you mean?
beneath the floor. Now.
But you told me never to go down there. Who is that?
I
Well,
do not
now
know.
I'm telling you
What's
to
he
go
talking
down.
about?
I do not know. Get in.
Just tell me what I want to know. No need for this to get bloody.
Hello? Who the fuck are you?
I thought you'd be bigger. But you're definitely the one.
Hello?
Long way from home, aren't you?
What is going on
What do
here?
you want?
I am confused.
Oh, you
No, I
already
don't want your
know
Girl
the
Scout
answer to that.
cookies.
Whatever it is you seek, I do not have it. You should move on.
And here I thought your kind was supposed to be so enlightened.
What do you
so much
mean?
better than us. So much smarter. And yet you hide out here in the woods. Like a cow.
Then again, he was in a Smash Bros. Clone by Sony.
You
It's true.
do not
True, true,
want
true.
this fight.
He's here. Whatever you're selling, we're not buying. Now, good day. Boy, I said good day. How you gonna try and bitch slap a man that big?
Leave my home.
You are going to have to kill me for that to happen.
Okay.
I warned you.
Finally.
I'll explain later if you want.
You would
No,
not
I mean,
listen.
I'm sure they'll explain who he is.
Fine. My turn.
Hello?
How incredibly disappointing. Come on, then.
Whoa! Bruh, no. Get the fuck up, Kratos.
You bore me.
Well, come on. Nah, you first. No, you.
Are you even trying?
No shit. Okay. Get the fuck up, bruh. Woo!
Come on already.
Come on. Come on. Jamon Lee. you are slower than the second coming of fucking Christ, bruh. Come on.
That it?
Come on. Shit. Shit, 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 shit.
Forget how to use a shield?
I mean, I usually don't block. Shit. Fuck off. Can I? Come on, bud. Woo!
Not very bright, huh? Tell me what I want. Pain stops real simple. Why are there two beds in here?
Leave my house!
Ooh! Kratos, throw a tree at him.
Did I?
Throw a tree at him. Throw a tree.
Who are you hiding? Slow and old. You should never have come to Midgard. So,
No.
try again.
No.
You talk too much.
What is this bullshit?
You won't talk? Fine. Maybe whoever it is you got stashed in that
No.
house.
No. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Bet.
Who is it? Who are you afraid I'll find? Let's find out.
Fuck off, bud. Oh shit. That hurt.
Still bore me. What are you hiding?
Fuck your shit, bruh.
Are a fool. I don't have time for this.
You gon' have time to die. Dude just kicked him into the fucking rock. Oh my god. Bruh!
So soon?
Who are you?
When Odin sent me here, I just needed answers, but you had to act all proud. Throw whatever you have at me. I'll keep coming.
What is happening?
That old body will give out. But before I end this, I want you to know one thing. I can't feel any of this.
What the fuck? Time to climb.
You've seen it with your own eyes. You can't hurt me. Nothing can.
Damn, you got third, babe. Babe, listen. I had no control over that, okay? I just fucked his shit up. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. He's gonna be right there.
You can't win.
Oh, I'm gonna win.
I feel nothing, but you feel everything. Yet you keep trying. I'm not my brother, and if you'd given me what I wanted, it wouldn't
Who's your
have
brother?
ended this way.
Who's your
But
brother?
no. Let's finish this.
Woo!
Can't beat me. Come on!
Fuck off! Shit.
Nothing.
Come on. Shit. I was too close. Fuck, 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 fuck.
I will end you.
No, you won't! No, you won't!
Can't beat me.
Woo!
Come on.
Shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, homie. Hi!
I feel nothing.
Come on. Shit. I'm glad that you can block, like, mid-attack. Into the ground! Like, it does make me glad that you can block in the middle of his attack, and you have, like, a chance for reprieve. Rip his head off! Bruh, stop trying to gouge my eye out. Rip it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut off his head. Double tap. Double tap. Nope, see, wrong move. Double tap. Homeboy could jump like 200 feet in the air. What you mean? Why you do that for? You can't come back from a ripped off head. You can come back if you were God, which obviously he fucking is. Kratos, don't you know better? Okay, we're gonna slowly limp back to our house.
Who was he?
That ain't the end of it. That ain't the end of it. I know it's not the end of it.
My past. How did they find me after all this time? Faye, what do I do? Our son is not ready to carry your ashes to the top of the mountain.
Well, he's gonna have to get ready. Come on, just, you know, heal yourself. Take a breather. You good, Kratos, you good. See? Everything is fine.
And neither am I.
Well, you gonna have to get ready.
I know how to do this without you.
Where's Atreus?
But we cannot stay here.
Nope. Our location has been compromised. Boy!
Boy.
There was so much. I thought.
Nothing can kill dear
alright.
old dad.
I am all right. Come. Gather your things. We are leaving.
Thought I wasn't ready.
You are not. We have no choice now.
Yup!
Prove me wrong.
Yes, sir.
Time to nut up or shut up. Okay, the journey begins.
It's gonna be a long trip.
You
Yes,
goddamn right
But
it
an
is.
important one.
Whoa. How did this happen?
Don't worry about it. Come on, Kratos. Or come on, Atreus.
Who was he?
I do not know.
What did he want with us? We're nobodies. Did you kill him?
I did what had to be
Bruh,
done.
Atreus just leaps on the back of his back like a fucking opossum.
Could have died.
No shit.
Never leave me alone again. All right?
All right.
Come on, boy. Okay.
Up.
Oh.
You've had to kill people before, haven't you?
Shut up. Don't
You're
ask me
used
that
to it.
question.
We do what we must to survive.
Animals, I get. They're food. Draugr, they're supposed to be dead. But people,
Look, some
They're
some
trying
people
to
just
survive
have it
too.
coming.
Close your heart to it. On our journey, we will be attacked by all manner of creature. Close your heart to their desperation. Close your heart to their suffering. Do not allow yourself to feel for them.
Ooh, okay.
They will not feel for you.
Facts.
I understand.
Facts. Look at him being a dad. Giving good old life lessons. Come on, Atreus. You were already up here.
Has this been here all this time? Why don't you help
Push
me
it.
up there? I can get a better look.
Okay. Uppies. Uppies, peas.
Okay, nowhere to go from here, except across this bridge.
Can I shoot that? Nope. Okay, so it's gotta be... Where's the thingy? Where's the thingy? Something to lower the bridge?
Think you can lower it from there?
Oh.
Go.
Made it!
Okay,
Boy.
drop the chain.
Yes, sir.
We'll do
Good idea!
that. Keep it frozen. You know, I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius.
That hanging bucket. An offering cask? Mother said Odin's disciples fill them with gifts and hang them where thieves can't reach them. That one looked really old. What is? Worshipping the gods?
Uppies.
Gods care nothing for them. Men should not pray to monsters.
Yeah.
Father, will we see others on the road?
Yes.
Friendly?
No.
They'll try and rob us?
Possibly.
Oh, it's a long jump.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. And down. We can drop this. Nope. We don't need to go back down. We just need to keep going up. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my god, this is gorgeous.
Look. All this time, there's been a protection stave around our
Always.
entire woods. But the stave's broken there.
Oh?
Did you cut those down?
She had marked the tree she wished used for her pyre.
Why'd she do that?
So you guys would
Come.
move on.
No looking back now.
All right, here's my theory. Here's my theory. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. Hear me out. So, whoever we burned at the beginning, whoever died, okay, she did like this protection spell around the entire forest, right, to protect those two. Okay. Okay. Hear me out. But then she died, and she marked certain trees, right, because she wanted the protection spell thing to break, to force those two to get their shit together. And then they can leave. But somebody came looking for them. That is my hypothesis. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. We do have anonymous follows on, so you can feel free to follow and lurk, enjoy the content. But if you want to chat, I would love the chance to get to know you. Atreus, are you gonna hurry the fuck up? Let's go. Oh shit, I never got water. Oh, I owe 3 hydrates. Holy shit. Okay, because this is all I have. I will be right back. Give me like 2 seconds, guys. I'm not even gonna go on the BRB screen. I will be right back. Give me like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And thank you for that hydrate. Thank you. You reminded me to go get water. Okay, and back. And back. And back. Huh. Okay. Go on here. Okay. Ugh. Oh, shit's leaking. Ah. Hello? James? Hello? I see you. I see you, sir. I gotta get a napkin. Okay. Okay. I promise one day I'll have my shit together, guys. One day I will have my shit together. But today is not that day. Today is not that day. Okay. I'm just gonna take this off. I'm just gonna take this off. Okay. Okay. Okay, I can do this. I can fucking do things. Okay, so thank you for the hydrate, first of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna do another one because I owe 3 at this point in time. That's 2. That's 2. James, welcome in. How are you? Thank you for that Streamloots card. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't yell at me, Annie. I do what I want. I do what I want. Isn't that what we all tell ourselves as adults? True. Truer words have never been spoken. Welcome's back. Thank you, James. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So,
Okay, back to content.
how long will it take
Back
to get to the
game.
mountain?
I do not know.
Before winter falls?
I do not know.
Okay, okay.
Bruh, he just said he don't know. Ooh. Ooh. Ah.
Should I fire?
Wait for my mark.
Wait for it.
Are we going to attack?
Shut the fuck up, Atreus. Yeah, yeet! Woo! Highest special movement I don't get yelled at? Oh no. I yell at everyone. Literally, I yell at everyone. Thank you for the warning, Atreus. Bruh, I got this.
Papanuggy James wants you to do 10 squats.
I hate it here. After this fight, James, I got you. Confirmed yells at everyone. It's true. It's true. Threat indicator on Kratos points to towards off-screen enemies. Gold indicators signify nearby enemies. Flashing red indicators signify an incoming attack. Flashing purple indicates incoming projectile. Okay, I got this. Stop throwing shit at me, first of all. Atreus! Shut the fuck up!
You don't look so great!
Well, you don't look so fucking great.
Enemy down!
I got it, 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 I got it.
Keep the pressure on.
Oh, son of a bitch.
More enemies, boy.
I'm gonna fucking die. Okay, I need to take out him. It's fine. This is okay. This is okay. Alright. Okay. Okay.
You
Motherfucker making me do 10 squats. I hate it here. I fucking hate it here, okay? Why are you like this? Why is it that you are the way that you are? Thank God I'm actually wearing pants, okay? Thank fucking God that I'm wearing pants right now. Gotta make me move all of this shit just so I can do some squats. You suck, James. Love your face, though. Gotta move all of this. I don't have much space here. What the hell? Okay. Making me work out. Six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Thank God I kind of keep a regular workout schedule somewhat. Always work out, Annie, for yelling at me. Listen. Okay. Ooh.
want to help. Distract them. Whoever is not my focus should be yours, but only when safe to do so.
I can do that. Look there.
Okay. Is there any health? Asking for a friend. Do we have any health? Ooh. Tell me when leg day I will abuse squats. Good. Good thing I don't tell y'all when I work out anyways. Alright. I don't think there's anything else in this area that we could do. Ooh.
Boy,
Sir.
Boy.
There's a Yetnar settlement ahead.
Yetnar,
Giants.
you can read the writing.
Some. Just the language his mother knew. But they're all sort of connected, so sometimes
Oh, okay.
I can feel my way through stuff I shouldn't know.
God of boy, dad of boy. Yes, dad of boy. Continue towards the mountain. Okay. Oh shit.
Ready and you gotta teach me that one.
I love that. Oh, that's
Anything
how.
else?
Space your shots. Speed costs accuracy.
Got it.
Okay, there's nothing.
Hey, I think there's a chest over there.
Ooh. Give, please. Hell's Touch, light runic attack, an extremely quick burst of energy that interrupts and knocks back all nearby enemies. You've acquired the Hell's Touch Light Runic Attack Gem. Runic gems allow you to customize your weapon to enable light and heavy runic attacks. What is this? Did that say, oh shit, that's awesome? I couldn't really read it on my screen. And it didn't do TTS, which is weird. Move down to select the light runic attack slot. Runic attack. Okay. Hell's Touch. Hold L1, R1. Hold L1, R1. Did I get? Okay, I did get taken over. Okay. I've been, like, okay, so I'm following the New Year, New Friends raid train. That way I know where we're going, at the end of stream. And I want to make sure that I got taken over with the raid, and I did, so we good. Okay. Use XP to upgrade runic attacks. Upgrading runic attacks improves their attributes. Press X to equip Hell's Touch Light Runic Attack Gem onto the Leviathan Axe. Okay. I don't have anything in there yet. Ooh. Whee! Hold L1, then press R1.
Whoa! How'd you do that?
Bro, that's cool as fuck.
I think we can go through here.
I just casually lifted up, no big deal.
Move.
Thanks. There's the mountain!
Paper Nuggy James wants you to type this and let your phone predict the rest, Animost.
Okay, I'm missing cutscene. Hold on. Did it say Annie Most? Is that what that said? Like M-O-S-T? Annie Most. Okay. I mean, do I just autofill until I complete a sentence? Let's see. Let me pull up my notes. So I was going to do it in my text messages, but y'all don't need to see my text messages. Alright. Annie most likely to get the shot. Annie most likely to get the shot. Let's go! Oh, I had it on my stream deck. Not very exciting. I mainly send, like, Snapchats to people.
Father, help!
Hang on!
Hurry! I'm slipping!
I'm fucking trying!
Stay calm. Almost there.
That wasn't so bad.
Slow down. Your haste will cost us.
Sorry. More Draugr. But these aren't.
Don't touch them! Don't touch them! Don't touch
Are
them!
they dead? I mean,
Don't touch them!
more dead?
Boy.
Atreus!
Not dead, not dead!
What the fuck? Enemy difficulty is represented by the color and number near the health bar. You got the shot? I did get the shot. The color of the enemy health bar ranges from green to purple depending on how powerful they are compared to Kratos.
Remember, accuracy over speed.
Okay. Atreus, this is why we can't have nice things. You had to go touch the fucking Draugr. God damn it, Atreus! Woo! it, I got it, I got it, I got it. Atreus, shut the fuck up. Oh, you bastard. Woo, health. And more health. Shut up, Atreus! Two left that you couldn't fucking keep your hands off of! What is that, like, fucking above them? What is that?
That was the last one.
What is
Is that
that?
better?
Take even more time. Does not matter if you fire only once. Show me control.
I don't know what that was, but I hit it. Eyes, the eyes of Odin? Oh?
Read it.
Oh, this used to be a marketplace. The giants used to gather here to trade with the gods a long time ago. Wonder if Odin was ever here.
Probably. There's a bird Odin
Something's
uses
breaking
to
through
walk
the wall!
through.
Up there!
Papanuggy James wants you to explain the meaning of the word cacophony.
Cacophony? I know what that fucking word is. I can't think right now, though. Give me a second. Okay, well, I could look up cacophony. Cacophony is a harsh, discordant mixture of sounds. So, it's like a very, like, I'm trying to think of how to, it's like when sounds just don't go together, and, oh, sorry, I heard my dog, like, whimpering, but he's making his own little net. Hold on. Let me see if I can y'all see him down here? Can we? Look at him, look at him. He just had to make his own little nest. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. So it's like sounds together that are really, really harsh and that just like don't mesh well together, and it's like nails on a fucking chalkboard to yourself. So yeah, that's what cacophony is. Okay. Think 13 car wrecks all happening at the same time. That's what that would sound like. And also, James, just for the future, like if I say what is that, I'd appreciate if you don't answer it. Just because I want to like I want to experience the game.
Something's breaking through the wall!
And you know, it kind of is like, I don't know if that is a spoiler or if that is something that is going to be important later on. If that makes sense. My apologies. No worries. Like now you know. I usually don't like it when people like say stuff in chat about the game. More of these bitches? Oh, we going full fucking demon gremlin mode. fuck did you put us in, Atreus? Shut up! Well, I'm kind of busy. I'm kind of busy right now.
Help me! Off of me!
Woo! Why didn't that kill him? God damn it, kid!
I'm exhausted.
Fuck! Best policy to follow is if she didn't directly ask, don't say. Yeah, it's one of those things. I ask a lot of like rhetorical questions, where I'm just thinking out loud, more so to fill the dead space, like fill the empty noise, because I don't want to sit there and like be quiet and thinking, what is that? You know, it's something that I will audibly say, and it's kind of like to get my thoughts out in the open. And like if I'm seriously asking, I'll be like, okay, seriously guys, like what is this, or how do I do that, or whatever. I just, for me, like backseating and like telling me things about the game, it kind of like ruins the
There's an
gameplay
opening
for
up
me.
there.
Because like backseating, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. Because I've had
Do you
people,
hear that?
I've had people that
is it?
come
We will
in
see.
and
Stay
I'll get stuck
close.
for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, oh, what do? I wonder what I have to do here. And they're like, oh, you need to do XYZ, and I'm like, bro, this is your first thing that you say in here.
What is that?
And it makes me feel like you think I'm stupid, that I can't figure it out myself.
So we're going towards the scary singing?
Double tap. Double tap. Ah. What the fuck are you?
Fire!
Oh shit.
I'll bring it down. Tell me when. Not ready. Need more time.
Oh fuck, 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 fuck.
At the ready. Watch the poison.
Fuck you, bitch!
I'm set.
No, we good, homie G. Okay, maybe we're not. Woo! Fuck off, bitch! Jesus!
Never thought I'd see one up close.
What What the fuck, bitch? Okay. Okay. Yeah, don't try to spoil a game I played a plethora of times. One of my favorite games. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is, like, actively trying to, like, you know, spoil gameplay or whatever. I think they just get excited. And they're like, oh, you know, I would love to tell you about XYZ. And it's like, well, I don't need to know. You know? Can I? What? What? I have things I could buy. Oh, square. I'm a dumbass. Boop. Okay, let's go.
I still don't understand why that man attacked you at our house.
I told you, boy. I know nothing more of it.
Chest. Shut up. I'm not worried about that right now.
I guess we need to get back up there.
Yo.
How?
Follow me.
We going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Zooming through the sky. Never sense.
Mother, you're really hurt. Father, get up.
Welp. Welp. Damn. Do I have at least full health now?
Look up there.
Okay, I don't trust you. Get me out of the corner. Get me out of the motherfucking corner. Oh, this is bad idea. We're gonna go back up here.
What's that over there?
Okay, I guess that's where we need to go. Or maybe this is where we need to go? I don't fucking know. Okay. We're gonna go this way. I don't trust it. I hate you. Hee hee. Oh, there's more. Shit, I dodged. I pulled too early. Fuck. I love when he rips apart the Draugrs. I just love it. Can I cut down that body? Is this a dumb thing to do? Okay, I can't. Okay, okay, cool. That's not a thing I can do. Open this up.
Another one here.
Ooh.
It says his name is Hrungnir. Mother told me about him. A giant warrior made of stone.
Oh.
Looks like he was in a pretty big battle. Odin's there, Thor, even the road serpent.
Gimme health.
Thor must have smashed
Give
his head
health.
apart.
Come, boy.
Bruh. Can we pick that up? Thor.
I've seen
Or
this
not Thor,
language
but-
before.
What the fuck am I talking about? Thor. I don't trust it. Okay. Do I go up here? What's this? Oh. Ah! It's for the anger mode. It's to be Angie Boy. Fucking bet. Okay, that's all that's over here. So, we going back over here? I think this also gives Angie. Okay, that is what gives Angie. Open this.
Sealed chest. I bet something good's inside.
Find and solve the 3 seals to... Okay, do I like...
Nice! You found a seal.
Oh, okay. That's one. This really is like fucking Senua's Sacrifice. Two.
Earlier,
Break that
people
down.
might try and rob us. I'll kill them if they try. I'm not afraid.
If we encounter men, you will
Is
stay
that just a
out
shadow?
of it. Understand?
That's just a shadow. Okay.
I can fight now.
You will stay out of it, boy. Speak no more of this.
What am I looking for? Little C looking thing? Okay. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Health. That's nice. Is it down anywhere? Or is it like over here? Where's the thingy for... let's see. Don't fall off the cliff.
Chains on both sides, maybe?
No fucking shit, Atreus. Alright, can't do that. Maybe I gotta go up here? Oh, and there goes the other one. Okay. Can my... No. Can't reach that. But I can do this.
I did it!
I did it! I did it! And then the other one is right here.
That was the last one!
Hopefully I'm not gonna die. Ooh. Treasure! Treasure! Ooh. Idun apple? You've collected 1 of 3 Idun apples needed to increase your maximum health. Ooh! Very nice. Idun apples are the choice food of the gods. Find 9 total apples in the world to in chests locked by magic. Every 3 you collect will increase your maximum health. Cool! Okay. Okay. So... Chest! Chest. Gib. GG's, I looked for like 15 minutes, couldn't find the third ruin for that when I played. Thanks, Madden. Ugh. Bet!
I think you got him.
Gee, you fucking think, Atreus? You think? Oh! God, that fucking scared me. Oh God, that scared me. Oh, you bitch. Oh, why are there draugrs? Oh, we going... Nope, because there's another one here. No fucking shit. Shut the fuck up, Atreus! Shut up and focus on the bitch that's shooting fucking poison at me! Okay, okay. Hi, Raiders. Welcome in. My name is Animagus Arts. I am a variety streamer who loves Kingdom Hearts. I try crazy challenges on stream, and I'm a certified gremlin. I hope you enjoy the content and the community, and I hope you hang out with us. Olivia, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you. What were you playing? What were you streaming? Kingdom Hearts. Ooh, oh, yay! Literally my bread and butter. Which Kingdom Hearts were you playing? And is it your first playthrough? Please do tell, please do tell. 7F Hawk, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Thank you. Madden, thank you for welcoming in the Raiders. Today we are playing Dad of Boy, God of Boy, Boy of War. We're playing God of War. It is our first stream of it, our first playthrough. We know nothing about the game at all. We just in here, we vibing, we dying a lot. I've died like almost 3 times. So yeah, it's a time. Hi Annie, hi Olivia, how are you? I miss your face. I love you. Doing well, just vibing along with my lyric with the chill and amazing Olivia. God of War and Final Fantasy 7 are 2 of my all-time favorite franchises. Final Fantasy 7. I'm planning a platinum run of Final Fantasy 7 really soon. Right now we are playing through Final Fantasy 14 for the first time, so I'm really excited about that. We also have Stream Puppy right here. Yeah, I got Spotify blocking his face. We got Stream Puppy right there. He likes to welcome in the Raiders too by yelling at everybody. He is a whole goddamn mess. He's a hot mess. But he's a good boy. Hey, good boy. Yeah. You want to say hi to Raiders? You want to say hi to Raiders? Good boy. Okay, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. I know. But you're going to start yelling. And we can't have you yell. Go lay down. Go. He angry. He big mad. Why are you big mad? Can I go back to streaming? Go get your dad. Okay, we're gonna hop back over to here. Oh. You better be lucky that Saf loves you. You better be lucky. You want a treat? You gotta be quiet. I don't give treats to boys that want to yell at me. No. You gotta be quiet. I know, Simba. I know. Okay, we got doggo treats. We give treats to the boys here. I know what Doggo wants. Yes. We have little man down here. Let's see. Come here, Simba. Good boy. There you go. Come on, take it. And then we got big boy. Come here, Mo. Come here. You sit. You wait. Okay, you can have it. Good boy. There you go. That's it. Simba, that's your treat. Go eat your treat. The little Simba, go eat your treat. Mo's gonna eat. Mo ate your treat. You left it unattended. Mo ate his treat. What is Simba wearing? Simba's wearing a harness. Come here, Simba. Come here. I know. I'm trying to pick you up. He's wearing a harness. We took him outside for a little walk and play in the dog park. So we put on his little harness. It's a little reflective harness. So we were out in the dark and cars could see him because he's so tiny. And him and Mo have matching ones. Little man? Yes, little man. This is old stream puppy. He old man. He 10 years old. But he still act like he's 2. Yeah. I love you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I need to meet the doggos. The doggos would love to meet everyone. Oh, your foot is stuck in my boobs, dog. They're stuck in my boobs. What are you doing? He just vibing. But yes, this is Simba. He is a 10-year-old purebred Chihuahua. Dude, I gotta clip your nails, dude, because they're getting stuck. Stop freaking out. Let me get your paw unstuck. There we go. He is a 10-year-old Chihuahua. Okay, I had to mute my mic because he was going off, as you guys saw. But yeah, he is a purebred Chihuahua. He is my old man, the love of my life, my pride and joy. He's Simba. Can I put you down now? I'm gonna put you down. And then, if I could pull his chair over. We got Mo here. Come on. We got Mo. He big boy. This stream puppy. This is the true stream puppy. Because he likes to come in and harass me and yell at everyone. So yeah, we love our babies here. Our little mascots. Oh, that was a big yawn. That was such a big yawn. So yeah. I could get Mo, speak. Good boy. That's such a good boy. I love you, baby. He's a good boy. The best boy. Can I kiss? Oh, thank you. Alright. We gonna go back to game. We gonna vibe with Dad, oh boy. But Shinobi, how are you? I hope you're doing good. I hope everything's going good. I'm gonna die. Oh, there's health over there. Wait, there's health over there. Shut up! Okay. Oh shit. Fuck. I hate it here. Ooh. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. Just got out of class so I can hear. Let's go. How class is going? You know what? We're just, you know. Fuck off, you dumb bitch. Woo. Fucking
Almost there.
get out of my way. Fuck. Shit. Goddamn. No, 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 no. Fucking shit. Okay, where did she go?
Yeah,
She dead.
that was tough.
She dead. Okay, okay. I can now go back to chat. I also need a lurk and get some foods. Have a great stream. See you soon. Thank you, Olivia, for the raid. Thank you so much. Thank you for the lurk. I love your face. Yes, go get food. Go get noms. Go do post-stream care. Do what you gotta do. I will take care of your peoples. I will take care of the peoples. Class is well and loving it so far. Yo, let's go. Let's fucking go. That's amazing. I'm glad class is going well. Yeah, this way. What do I... Is it this? No. If I let go, it's just gonna go,
Whoops.
Oh, is it the... Nope, that ain't it. Do I need to... Oh, wait, big brain moment. Big brain moment. Big brain moment. Ugh.
You did it.
I did it. I did it. I'm a big brain girl. I am a big brain girl. Pick up that.
All these dead. You think it's safe in there?
You think it's safer out here?
Probably not. But we're gonna fuck around and find out. It's my
What's
favorite
that
game.
smell?
Dead people.
Now! The Hellwalkers? They're untouched. Look.
Nope.
Someone start the fires! Sigmund, your knives! So many days without meat.
Oh, we going full cannibal?
Wait, to us?
Behind me.
What if they change like the others? We'll have to keep them alive. Strip off their meat. A little at a time.
This fight is mine alone.
He's just one man. Don't you? Wait for
No fucking shit.
Kill Gunther.
You goddamn right I did. That's Atreus. Yoink! Hello? Oh! Oh, you're right there. If I could fucking aim. There we go. Oh, beautiful. You stabbed him in the face. Boy!
Boy?
He stabbed him in the face. He's good. He's fine. It's okay. He breathing. He good. He good. Just wipe. Just you know, dust your shoulders off. Dust. You killed your first man. I know how tough it's gonna feel, but you had to do what you had to do. It's okay. It was either you or him.
Close your
He's
heart
so
to it.
innocent.
Come then. We have a long journey.
Oh no. Oh no. I do believe it is time to run.
I will handle this.
Or not? You see how much health I fucking got? Do you see how much fucking health I got? I am not gonna survive this. Oh shit, I didn't time it right. It's okay. I just gonna come back. It's fine. See, I come back with full health. Woo! That's one. Oh, I didn't time that one. Oh, this is so violent and I love it. Ah! Where the fuck? Oh, Atreus is over there. Atreus, you good, homie G? I got you. Boom! I did it.
They came back.
I did it.
They came back.
Yup.
It's finished.
I want to leave here.
Then collect yourself.
I mean,
We
I want
must
to leave
find a
here
way
too.
out.
You know, we just gonna... Just for that.
That chain.
So we gotta get him up there somehow.
Here.
Come on,
Go
boy!
jump the chain.
Okay.
Oh, he don't wanna. He doesn't want to. Something's gonna happen to him. Come on, go drop the chain. It's okay. It's okay. Atreus? Hurry it up, boy. We ain't got all day.
Atreus.
We
chain.
ain't got all day.
The chain.
Come on.
Right.
You are in your head, boy. Let it go. He would have killed you.
I know, I had to do it. I do know
See,
that,
you're
I
fine.
just-
You're fine. It's okay.
And we will go home, boy.
What?
To give up this easily. So close to the start.
Wait,
I
no.
mean,
I'm not giving up. I can do this. I just have to, you know, catch my breath.
yeah.
I'm ready.
Alright, then drop the motherfucking chain. Hua! Come on, Atreus. It's time to go do the thing.
Listen to me. To be effective in combat, a warrior must not feel for his enemy. The road ahead is long and unforgiving. No place for a boy. You must be a warrior.
I understand.
Ooh. We're not gonna go down there just yet. We're gonna do this. Why do I feel like this is not a good idea? Hey! That's mean.
Can't get this slow-eyed cocklump to cross the bridge.
Have you tried
Because she's
speaking
scared of
nicely
something in
to
the
it?
trees over there.
There's what now?
Father, throw your axe at those trees on the other side of the bridge. The ones with the white trunks.
Hello?
Trust me just this once. Please.
With the white trunks, okay. Okay.
The tree with the white trunk and orange leaves. Right there on the other side of the bridge.
Well, you know, I gotta get a good angle, boy.
Why isn't he throwing the axe? He
Shut
broken or something?
Fuck up. Wait, that one? Oh, okay. That tree. That tree.
You were right.
Say, you must be smart or something, boy. You're a boy, aren't you? Ha!
Does she have a name?
I don't know. Rude bastard ain't ever asked mine, so ain't ever asked hers. Ah! Ha!
Like she's gonna
What's
fucking
yours?
answer you.
Brock.
Hi, Brock.
Vera Logan.
Come on, Atreus is so, like, precious.
Say, you're not gonna believe me, but
He is
that
precious
axe you
being.
got, it was me what made her. Me and my brother. Was one of our best. So don't let nobody else go work on her except for us two. Ah! You gotta
friend?
handle her special, or she'll wreck beyond fixing.
A friend.
I can enhance her for you right now if it so pleases you, son of a bitch. So what say you? Ah!
You are right. I do not believe you.
Okay.
Come, boy.
You just call me a son of a bitch.
There's
You
a
just
rune
like
in
you
the
just
shape of a
me.
fork under the grip. No, digger beat ya, Doomberg. Aqua. That was our brand, my brother and me, before we split. I got half of it right here, see?
Interesting.
Look, you want I should upgrade her or not?
Very well. I expect an improvement.
We're just gonna trust him with our axe? I mean...
So, where's the other half of the brand?
All my dumb brothers got it. But I got all the talent. Look!
Hi, Brock.
All right, what'd you break?
Okay. I kind of feel like this is a good stopping point for now, because it's almost 10 o'clock, and your girl needs to sleep. So, we're gonna hop over to right here. And we're gonna turn on some music. And we'll turn on this. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It was fantastic to start streaming this game finally. I'm enjoying it so freaking much. I really am. It's a wonderful game so far. I cannot wait to play more of it next week. So with that being said, we are going to raid out to the New Year, New Friends raid train. So please stick around for the raid. I want to pass the love on. Right now it is with John Bonsai. And he is playing some Pokemon Scarlet. He's playing Pokemon Scarlet. And it looks like he's having a fun time with it so far. I've been lurking in here for a while. So I am beyond happy to go spread the love to him. We are going to be live again Thursday with our part of the raid train. We are going to be doing some Beat Saber, hopefully. Let me go ahead and copy his name. John Bonsai. Copy. So we are going to send that love on over to him. And I will see you guys again on Thursday. Like I said, we are going to be live at 9 p.m. EST for our slot of the raid train. We do have a raid message if you are sub to the channel and if you are not sub to the channel. So don't you worry about that. I would love it if anyone could copy and paste that raid message into the chat and go show John some love. And hopefully I will see you guys on Thursday to end the birthday on a good note. I love you guys and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.